Hi, folks. Welcome back to your world with Prakash Kapila. We are following this PV series, P.V. Narasimha Rao's series that changed actually the 5 years that he was as Prime Minister for India has changed the facet of the whole Indian generations coming out of India as well as within India. The whole system, not only he's mostly known for the economic reforms, but the economic reforms was very small when compared to what he has done for the country um, as a statesman. Because you see, when you open up the market, okay, the money is going to come into the market, but you need the base, you need the peace and prosperity to flourish. And if that is not there, then what happens is money will go back. As soon as the money comes, money is going back. In ancient folklore of India, in Mahabharata, Yudhishthira says that the mind is the fastest thing. The thoughts are the fastest than anything else that moves. Where the thought goes, the mind goes. That is how, whether you call stock market, one is putting money into stock market or bonds or treasuries or moving into currencies. All those things happen because of one small thought, and that thought is very fast. And when the thought is preceded with actions, money flows from one point to another. It's a very liquid resource. So economic reforms are good, but if the underlying conditions for that economic reforms are not met, basically the human resource is not catching up to the particular opportunities, then it's a waste. See, opportunity is only as good as someone who uses it. We know that so many people with so much of opportunities still fail, whereas few people with very small opportunities uh, become much bigger than what anybody can imagine. So in such scenario, we have shifted away from the economic reforms, and we have looked into the other aspects that actually build the solid structure of Pax South Asia. The peace in the South Asia is completely dependent on India because it's powerful, it holds peace, and almost all religions in the world are in India. And people in India are welcoming to any religion, anything. You create a stone and say it's a god. People just say, okay, it's your god. Do whatever you want with it. So whether it's Zoroastrians, Jews, Sikhs, Punjabis, Muslims, Punjabis in the sense Sikhs, um, uh, any culture, any background, they all amalgamate into one big country called India. And whoever is Indian Prime Minister has to deal with one thorny issue, that is Kashmir. So as a prime minister, you can't escape Kashmir. That is written in your forehead. So you have to deal with it. You have to move forward. So before, till P.V. Narasimha Rao was there as prime minister, the context was OIC, oil importing countries, right? Oil exporting countries actually were all against India. They knew that India will have to buy from us. So they used to always side with Pakistan. UN was always siding with Pakistan. America was close to Pakistan and actually sponsored Pakistan in much of the human rights violations and all those strictures passed on to India. So in the whole world, we only had one Russia that was saying, "Hey, India is good, don't touch it." But all other countries were against it, and they were thinking that India occupied Kashmir. But in reality, Kashmir is and was part of India. There are many shrines in Kashmir, like Kedarnath, Badrinath, and all those things that are Kailash Parvat. All those things are very, very holy for Indians. So a lot of Hindus and Indians lived in Kashmir, And during during VP Singh's regime around 1990, lot of Hindus were driven away from Kashmir by force, and Pakistan supported it, and no country in the world opposed that thing. So during this time, when PV became PM, obviously he has to deal with the world around him, trying to force things on India, saying that it has occupied Kashmir, and the Kashmiris themselves, who wanted to liberate and who were freely espousing the idea that we have driven away all Hindus, now this is a land of Muslims, so you should not be here. So like that, there were so many other things. Like Pakistan, Benazir Bhutto was the prime minister, and she was always hitting. She used her feminine status and rallied the whole world against India. So in this backdrop, what happened was there were a few instances that happened. So along with me, I have Ravindra, our favorite guest, and yeah, I also say, Ravindra, yeah, you give your opening comments and we can take it from there.
Kashmir, yeah, thank you so much for having me in the show, Prakash. And very first point I would like to say about Kashmir is means there is a history behind 1995 when this story sure issue was happening. Means why the Kashmiri people were unhappy with the Indian government, and there are so much of story behind it at the time. Even if I tell you about only from 1947, right, like why this partition has this Kashmir. So when British left, I think we all know historically saying Britisher gave the option of joining all the princely states into India or Pakistan. So there are three states which did not agree. First one is the Junagadh, second one is Hyderabad, and the third one is Kashmir in India side. Okay, Pakistan side it was Balochistan. Anyway, it forcefully annexed Balochistan. Pakistan did it, whereas Jawaharlal Nehru, being the liberal guy, and his origins are from Kashmir, and he is a good friend of Sheikh Abdullah. So he clinched a deal saying that okay, means after Pakistan tried to invade Kashmir in 1947 and India has a war. Meanwhile, many people don't know that Jawaharlal Nehru was actually he conducted the plebiscite in Junagadh also, and which came highly in favor of India. So in the same mindset, he told that in UN also will do the plebiscite. Then afterwards, Pakistan it changed all the rules of the Kashmir which it has got, and this is all the backdrop actually. And the main problem with the Kashmiris is they were actually not with Pakistan or India. A lot of people don't realize this right now because of so many years past. We all think the Kashmiris are with Pakistan and the Hindus are with India. It is not true, because if you observe Kashmir, it is in a mountain range where the people are at the time, those generations, right, they don't have that much logistics to travel onto the mainland. So the marital aspect or the languages, everything, the cultural aspect, everything, the Kashmiri Muslims are very different to the Pakistani side Muslims. Okay, mentality wise, everything. Okay, so in that case, that's how we got our whole Kashmir to us. Okay, and meanwhile, that America was sidelining with Pakistan because it requires to drive away the Soviet Union in the Afghanistan. You know, all the Osama bin Laden
Right.
saga and all, right. So now as soon as Russia left from there, and now it become all these people become jobless. So that is where Pakistan tried to push these people towards Indian Kashmir side. That is where the whole problem started from 1989 onwards. They only say elections are rigged and all, but I don't believe all those reasons. It was always the same thing. But Pakistanis, they started catching the unhappy people in Kashmir, sending them that you should not be living in India, and they were kind of given training, and so that is how they started the one side war, proxy war in India. So even if you look at the bloodshed from 1989 onwards, so then followed by what Prakash mentioned, the Kashmiri Pandits exodus happened, which is very unfortunate, and I don't think they will go back again there. In this world, the P.V. Narasimha Rao took the reins, and he was making all the financial changes and all. But no country will come and invest unless there is a peace there. And India is in bad news throughout the journey from 1947 till 1991 about Kashmir. India was continuously facing heat from all countries, because for every country they look Pakistan like a small country. India is trying to bully Pakistan. That is how every narrative in other countries was created that way. But after the P.V. Narasimha Rao came, right, you have to understand when the Chori Chowra, this particular shrine was hijacked, and then even if you look at it, right, even though people find fault with PV saying that he did not took the action on the spot, but the lovely thing what he did was he knows Vajpayee is the person who can talk, who has that oratory skills. So he is a statesman, even though he belongs to the other party. Still, he has sent him to the UN, and then where the total counter offensive or counter narrative has been. Means Vajpayee stole all the show. Actually, you can say the world started looking India in a different perspective after that. Anyway, after followed by you have Pakistan itself, goof ups happened, and now everybody knows India. Now everybody buys the Indian side of story, but 25 years back things are not like that. So PV was in a very difficult situation in making decisions for India.
Very precarious positions, yes.
Very precarious, and with the minority government, and he has to deal all these things. So I consider he is far better than Rajiv Gandhi, because Rajiv Gandhi and all what he did was he tries to usurp the government of Sheikh Abdullah and all. That time he tried, right, in 1984 and all. So,
Right.
so his P.V. Narasimha Rao policies were more matured than Rajiv Gandhi. The way he handled this kind of situation.
And even Indira Gandhi also.
Even Indira Gandhi also. And you can say Kashmir is coming to little bit normalcy during P.V. Narasimha Rao time only, actually. Then
elections were also held, I think, after a long time.
a long time of governor and all, elections were held, and people were participating like never before. And there is a very good chance of becoming normal life in Kashmir. That is what happened. Then followed by the Pakistan intervention continuously into the Indian side. That is actually happening. But yeah, that is how it is. Yeah.
Right. So I want viewers to understand that the life was not so easy. A lot of a lot of Muslims from Pakistan started devising the society, dividing the society and devising plans against India. And you could see that one of the major incidents that happened during that time was Charare Sharif, Hazrat Bal. So there is a mosque called Hazrat Bal, they call it Charare Sharif, where the hair of Prophet Muhammad or someone very holy is
No, Prophet Muhammad
Prophet
only.
Muhammad only. So it was the mosque is of that particular significance. So what happened is Mast Gul, a Pakistani colonel, disguised as a Mujahideen, the terrorist, and they started doing the same thing as Sikhs did for Golden Temple, Amritsar. But here the difference was it was well thought out. So a lot of people, when they start coming to this Hazrat Bal during one of those Eids, I think. I don't exactly remember the time frame, but there was a Muslim festival.
95 January, Prakash.
January, right? Yeah. So during the I think just after 2 or 3 months, the Ramzan will start.
Correct.
So what happened was the lot of people were being collected into that Hazrat Bal, and over 1,000 people started coming into that Hazrat Bal. He started getting acquiring a lot of people there, and around 1,000 people went there. And during that time, they were saying that okay, we are holding all of them as hostage. One fine day, they said, these are all the hostages. Leave Kashmir, or you will face, you will see a lot of people die. That's what is the basic summary that happened. So during that Sharare Sharif, please interject, Ravindra.
Yeah.
So during that Sharare Sharif, what happened was there were a lot of army did siege on the particular thing, and there were like 1,000 people. So do you remember those things? Do you? What was your take on that? What do you think happened, and how did
See,
things
this
go from
is
there?
a very sensitive topic, right? In terms of religious sentiments, because for a over 1.5 billion, they revere Prophet Muhammad more than their life. Okay, they consider they idolize him and all. So in the Kashmir, when this particular siege happened, right? With actually stolen, somebody stolen that particular this one also. One moment, Prakash. So, see, the thing was, it is a very sensitive topic when the emotions are high, and we need to. The army's role is not just to what is to bring the situation to normal, right? Whereas they have to deal with very what is it called, hostile,
Environment, yeah.
highly energized environment where they don't know who are their side and who are on the other side, and a little bit of calculation wrong could have make a big misery on humanity, right there. People can start doing things, and the world community already, which is against India, it will say India is using excessive army to control the peaceful crowd. And if it fails, then again the blame comes to army, saying that they could not even do this, and they so it was
Yeah, between
actually
rock and hard salt kind of
yeah,
thing.
hard salt. And at that time we were very lucky that not many TV channels were there. We have news coverage is very less. If those kind of things happen now, I think all the channels will have the same news. Even with
I want to interject here.
yeah,
Even though Indian channels were less, but all the international
yeah,
channels were
they are
there,
more into that,
like channels from Pakistan, Saudi Arabia. I mean, you name it, all the Muslim channels, as well as BBC, and then the French channel and the Australian ABC, and of course the US channels were also there, and
yeah. Hmm.
they were demanding to go inside Hazrat Bal. There is some for viewers. There is even a press conference where it was hijacked by the BBC, and they started demanding to get the passes so that they can go inside Hazrat Bal, talk to them, and all those. So there was a huge risk there, where if you go inside, they can just keep you down and say, "This is my guy," and hostage that person also. That's how, like, how 1,000 people got hostaged in a very small place.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it,
Go ahead. Sorry.
it is like Operation Blue Star of Kashmir, right? This whole
Yes, yes,
story.
yes.
Um,
And yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So this one, I remember this to be almost a 1 month saga. I heard
Yeah,
like 3 weeks.
1.5 months. Yeah, 1.5, 2 months.
And then every time they used to announce it in the TV, like what's going on there. So
Right.
here at the time, we normally take a position of Indian side, right, saying that we should actually go inside and just to shoot everybody and bring
Yeah.
down back like our movie style, right? But the thing is, India is not just about giving; it is about international reputation also at stake, right? If you
Mm.
mishandle the whole situation. Then these are all the things I remember, Prakash, actually. So those times, but I think after some time, I think we arrested that that
Mastugul. No,
Mustapha.
actually, what happened was Mastugul and all the Hizbul guys, like there are say 200 people. They were all the militia. They acquired a lot of people into that Hazrat Bal. So it was not that huge compound. I mean, it's a huge for 10 people, but not for 1,000 people. So what happened during that time was the army cordoned off, and there was a local government there. So army couldn't go inside if the local government didn't push them in. But the local government was saying that, okay, we cannot do anything until we get the go ahead from center. The center guy, the home minister and defense minister, were saying, we are waiting for prime minister who is there in AP elections, who is going in the AP election. There were on Andhra Pradesh, there were elections happening, and he was canvassing there. So this is the ideal situation where the calmness of chaos. When the war is happening, Napoleon says the war is between two minds. It's not between two armies. Armies are there, but it is the mind of the general that wins the war. Even Sun Tzu or Napoleon or any of those guys, they will say the same thing. And who is the general there? Not the army guy,
But the
but the prime minister, who doesn't know anything about fighting.
fighting.
So during that time, I saw that a lot of people say that he doesn't take quick decisions. He doesn't take quick decisions. I felt that was a moment where not taking a quick decision was actually the right thing to do. So then so nobody was taking any decision. So the Mujahidins were calling the shots, saying that we want water. So the water was given. We want food. The food was given. So then they said then they cut off the water pipes and all those. Water supply, current supply was gone. So for 3 days there was no current, there was no water, and they didn't have any other place to go to their natural calls. They had to come out. So then they said, no, we can't go out. And they started defecating the whole place nearby.
Oh, that is where. Okay.
Then the Muslim community said, you can't let this happen. This is Islam, and people should be given something. So then they restored water, they restored electricity. They said, okay, give us some time, we will do it. So for one day they restored water, one day they restored electricity. And later on, they again started demanding, we want biryani, we want this. But the biryani was given. So whatever they were demanding, it was given, except that the army was not going away anywhere. And their demand was, if you don't go away from Kashmir, we'll shoot everybody. So these guys were saying, okay, we don't know what to tell you. You wait. So that guy was keeping on asking, and these guys were giving all the trivial things they were given, like water, electric. First they cut the water, then they cut the electricity, then they cut the food. Then slowly everything was getting restored, and then they say, and then when he was very angry, he said, no, you eat something, you first cool down, we'll talk to the prime minister. And prime minister was nowhere. So imagine, for 50 days it kept on happening like this. Nobody
even when you vex somebody who were not even coming out and staying in the same place, and which must be rotting like a rat smell, or all the bad type.
no bath.
Whatever angry, whatever the josh you have to do the whole thing, that is all gone within 30 days. Now after 30 days, it's all about how you come out clean, right? Gracefully, how you come out.
Exactly. And the reporters were also said that, okay, your life is your life. If you want, give us underwriting that even if they get you as hostage, it's okay. It's my life. You don't have to fulfill anything. And nobody written anything. They were like, then
I don't think after this thing happened, they never tried this kind of thing again, because right.
No, they did hijack a plane during Vajpayee time, Vajpayee regime, where they went to Kandahar, right?
Yeah. For getting these release of
Hafiz Saeed,
Masood Azhar and all.
Masood Azhar, Hafiz Saeed. Now he's got after so many years, he got prison. But during those time, Mastgul was the commander there, and he had so many of the Mujahidins. Now everybody was sick. No bath. For bath there is not much of water. Only for your natural purposes water was given. and that was also defecating a lot. And it was like a very uh, harsh climate. A lot of cold. January is a very cold climate.
Yeah, January only it happened.
So then the women folk started coming, and they said, "You, because of you, my son is dying. I can't let my son die." And they said, "You also go in." They all went in. They all went in, and then 2 days after 2 days, they came back and said, "We have to go." Then there was a message saying that we have to get the biryanis to them. So we let the ladies. Then the army guys were saying, "Let the ladies go." So like that, all the people that were there, slowly, children were left out,
Finally,
women left out.
only those 200 were only men. Some men will be there.
Yeah, and that too with a lot of smell and all those things.
Yeah,
So
yeah. They all come
and
out.
they at one point of time they were saying that they will blow off the mosque.
Oh,
Gul and other guys were saying they'll blow off the mosque. So the army guy was saying the message is not yet reached the prime minister. He's gone.
you can take your decision.
And the message is not yet gone to prime minister. He was going into some villages. I mean, there was a bit of truth to it that he was going from one village to another village to another village, and he doesn't know the exact situation. He said, "Whatever decisions that home minister takes, I'm okay with it." Then home minister says, "Whatever decision governor takes, I'm okay with it." Then governor says, "Whatever is the politician decision, they are okay with it." Then it again came back to PM, because during those times, whatever decision was there, it went around and round and round and came back to PV.
Correct.
So fortunately, what happened was after a long time, PV didn't take any decision. If you see, PV did not take any decision. He let everybody curse him. Arun Shourie was senior most journalist. He was like cursing PM, like, "Where are you? Why are you there?" Lot of frustration, but that 2 months of thing, it ended in a very favorable to the people there. Nobody was killed. I mean, think about a
Because
hostage situation
see, it's a most
without a
pitiable
fire.
situation for the hijackers, right? they are not in a position to take or kill somebody or make any decision. So, see, the point is, if they make the mosque blast or something, right, then the blame directly goes on them. So they cannot do that. That too, when Kashmir itself is a Muslim majority, they wants to have a Muslim support and all. They cannot do the blasting the mosque, and all the people who are inside the mosque are also all are Muslims only, right? They
Yes,
cannot
yes.
be non-Muslim. So obviously, this communal agenda will not work. Okay, so they
No,
can
I mean,
hijackers could not.
at
Yeah,
that
yeah.
time, there was this thing that Pakistan was saying, Benazir Bhutto was saying, "I understand the terror mujahideens blowing up the mosque to save themselves, but I will not understand the Indian government in not stopping them."
So she is looking forward for a blast for the mosque only.
Uh, some way or shape or form, they were talking about Indian this thing.
Embarrassing the Indian government.
There was one thing. So then there was a big, rumor saying that if Human Rights Commission comes in between, then we may have to, believe we may have to give what all demands they say. That was a rumor that was spread by Indian government. So every guy who was in the street supporting the terrorists was saying, "Human rights guys, you have to come, you have to come, you have to come, you have to come." So these guys said, "Okay, UN." They gave application to UN for human rights guys to come. Then they said, "You wait, human rights guy is coming." Another 15 days gone in that.
It's all wait and watch. So, because yeah, see, it is not like in a movie somebody kidnaps and immediate results happen, right? Here there are so many things, right? First of all, initially for first 2 days they'll have that we won the whole thing. Now we took the whole mask and seize.
Yeah.
But the thing is, as days goes, when there is no decision is been made, so they have to somewhat come out, right? So
The kind of emotional plane they're in, slowly they had to come down,
So
come
it
down,
gives
and
you
it
a
was like
grounding everything.
excruciating.
Yeah.
It was excruciating for people who are watching the news. Very much excruciating, because it's the same news every day that was coming. He's going there, he's gone there, he's gone there. So by and I mean, it ended up very nicely. And now when you look back, at that time even everybody was very angry with PV about mishandling. But when you look back, it is the only hostage situation in the world where hostages couldn't kill anybody
Mm.
and couldn't get anything and just ran away.
Mm.
So why did they come, why did they occupy, and why did they run away?
And moreover, it's an embarrassing thing for Pakistan in UN as well. Finally,
Ah.
it ended up
So
there,
then
right?
because this guy moved into Pakistan, and it was well documented, all the guys, they were like, he even addressed press meet and as well as public meetings in Pakistan. So then India said, see, these guys are supporting them, case closed. So from that time onwards, I think that was a very turning point. And I think that with such a wise and statesman like thing, Kashmir didn't break. And it is now all the world understand that we are not occupying Kashmir. uh, Pakistan is trying to sow some doubts in people, and people have started turning around. It takes a lot of patience, perseverance, and I hope Modi also follows that patience, which
Mm.
I don't see anyways. But
But
hope is eternal.
yeah, yeah,
So, any closing comments? I mean, it's already half an hour.
yeah, yeah.
Any
No,
closing comments? Yeah.
I think by now this is my third session on PV, right? There are so many things which I understood PV after after his becoming prime minister. I mean, during his term also, so many times I never used to understand why he is like that. And that too, normally people say here, there, and all, but he comes under one of the modern architects of India, like Nehru. And afterwards, even if you look at it, I don't think he will be. I will be rate him like top three prime ministers India ever had till now. So
Yeah. Easily.
even he is easily a Bharat Ratna with no doubts actually. Because he himself is not corrupt, and many of the issues he faced as a minority government, I don't think Nehru faced it, or I don't know how he could have
None
solved
of the prime ministers faced similar
none
things.
of the prime ministers faced, and he has to work with so many different diversified people's background and solving it. And he has taken a very good role there as a prime minister. Yeah, thanks to him for most of the things. We are all we are both are in US scenes because of him only. So thanks to
Yes,
PV.
yes. Okay, so folks, we couldn't talk much. So we thought we'll talk about Kashmir and Pakistan, but we could only talk about Kashmir with the limited time. So we'll talk about Pakistan maybe in the next episode.
Okay,
Uh,
sure.
Talk to you and meet you again. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Thank you so much.